Everyone, welcome to second chapter, that is breathing and exchange of gases, calorie burner and energy provider, session 2. So we have seen the case with the respiratory organs. We have seen so far the summary of the breathing and exchange of gases, how it influences human beings. Now we'll see the respiratory organs. Protozoans, poriferans, coelenteroids and the ctenophores are the members in which the through body wall by diffusion. So not to confuse with when it is said the protozoans and poriferans, they are the unicellular, smaller protozoans, and sponges are multicellular, smaller through. So how does it is with the body wall? Body wall, in the sense here it is plasma membrane. Right from the coelenteroids, which are the first tissue grade animals, through body wall by diffusion, ctenophores through body wall by diffusion, and the platyhelminthes living members through body wall by diffusion. But in the case of parasites, for suppose if we see in the case of the Taenia solium, anaerobic respiration, where the breakdown of the food substances does not involve the oxygen, anaerobic respiration. Next, Nemathelminthes also through body wall by diffusion, whereas in the case of the annelids, we can see that cutaneous respiration through skin. Generally, the respiration is gill respiration, pulmonary respiration. Besides that, we see cutaneous, the respiration through skin, and also temporarily. In the case of through the pharyngeal respiration, buccopharyngeal cavity also takes place. So annelids through body wall, that is through skin, we say it is a cutaneous respiration. Among these annelids, particularly the case with the earthworm, the body wall is kept moist. The moistured condition facilitates the easy exchange of gases. That's the reason why always the earthworm keeps its body wall moist. That is by means of the coelomic fluid that keeps the body wall moist, and the glands present in the body wall produces the mucus which keeps the body wall moist, so easily facilitate the exchange of gases by diffusion also. Keep in mind, just now I asked you a question, that is as diffusion through body wall taking place in the animals still up to the annelida, why not in the human beings? The reason is, in the case of the smaller animals, the exchange of gases takes place through body wall as the distance travelled by gases is very less. The exchange of gases influenced by the respiratory surface, the distance travelled by gases, the partial pressure of gases, and the solubility of the gases. We are about to discuss that in the upcoming the sessions. So in the case of human beings, it needs to travel a long distance. That's the reason why the pressure gradient is maintained. The pressure in different parts, the gases pressure needs to be maintained. For that, it needs to be what is called require the respiratory organs. Whereas here, no. The case with among the annelids, the polychaetes, oligochaetes, through body wall by diffusion. Among polychaetes, one example is there, Arenicola lugworm, in which the gill-like structures are associated with the parapodia, which helps in the respiration. That's the reason why we see Arenicola is an exemption among the annelids, in which the parapodia both for locomotion and respiration. This is an evidence. Next, we see the arthropods. Arthropods have the list of the respiratory organs. The respiratory system is well developed in the case of the arthropods. If we see the examples, crustaceans are aquatic where the gills are the respiratory organs. Crustacean. The Palimnius Polymen, freshwater, the crustacean is with the gills as a respiratory organs. The case with the insects. Insects include cockroach, Anopheles, Culex, and even the Diplopoda and the Chilopods are the members where trachea are the respiratory organs which are named to be the tracheate. I repeat, you have to note down these all extra points. That is, in the case of the arthropods, there are tracheate animals. There are the gill breathing animals, branchiate animals. The list of the respiratory organs we see in the arthropods: gills, crustaceans, polymen, tracheate animals in the case of the trachea or the respiratory organs, insects, chylopod, diplopod, Periplaneta americana, and the chylopod, diplopod, zoolus, or what with the respiratory organ in the form of the trachea. There is an advantage with the tracheate animals. Directly the air diffuses into the tissues where there is no medium involvement. However, we have seen in the case of the human beings where blood is with the respiratory pigment which play a vital role in the exchange of gases. The case with the tracheate animals, example cockroach, circulatory system nothing to do with the exchange of gases. There are regions. One, the respiratory pigment is absent in the case of the tracheates. What I'm not saying that among all the arthropods, crustaceans are with the respiratory pigment. But here, there is no respiratory pigment. That is the one region. Second region among the tracheate animals, as the directly air diffuses into the tissues by trachea, tracheal cells, and the tracheoles. Tracheoles directly bring the air into the tissues. So no need of a medium. So circulatory system nothing to do with the respiration. And the case with the other members, spider with the book, lungs, and limulus with the big gills. So among the arthropods, the respiratory organs, I repeat, in the case of crustaceans, gills, in the case of tracheate animals, insecta, chilopoda, diplopoda, example cockroach, and the zoolus, diplopod, are the members in which the exchange of gases by tracheal system, spiracles, tracheal cell, tracheoles directly diffuse into the tissues where there is no role played by the blood as they directly innervate. Next, the case with the spider, book lungs, the case with the limulus. Limulus is with the book gills. So, book gills, book lungs, and the trachea are the respiratory organs among the arthropoda. Next, mollusca. Molluscans, the respiratory organs are what named to be the ctenidia. Ctenidia are the respiratory organs. Pila, unio. Unio is one example where through the two gills of what helps in the respiration. The respiratory organs in the case of the mollusca is to be the ctenidia. However, there are certain members in which the pulmonary sac is also respiratory organ. Next, in the case of echinodermata, dermal branchia, cloacal respiratory trees. Dermal branchia, cloacal respiratory trees, or the respiratory organs. Next, in hemichordata, pharyngeal wall. These are all the list of the respiratory processes, how they takes place in invertebrate non-chordates. And in the case of the chordates, we see cyclostomes and fishes are with the pharyngeal wall. Fishes and the cyclostomes are with the pharyngeal wall. Pharyngeal wall. Next, the pharyngeal wall. Basically, the chordates are named so because of the notochord. The characteristic chordate features is the presence of notochord, nerve cord, pharyngeal wall, and postanal tail. One of this is the pharyngeal wall, which is for respiration. However, in the case of the urochordates and the cephalochordates, is the pharyngeal wall is the respiratory structure. The case with the amphibia. Amphibians in which the gills, next skin, buccopharyngeal cavity, and the lungs are the respiratory organs. The case with the reptiles, lungs, aves, lungs, mammals, lungs, pulmonary respiration. Since these are all what the reptiles, aves, and the mammals are considered to be the terrestrial member, so the pulmonary respiration is the process. Reptiles are the first successful terrestrial members. Next, aves and the mammals. The case with the aves, during the expiration, the continuous exchange of gases also takes place during the expiration. It is one of the unique features. The unique features we see in the case of the insects with the trachea, it is a one unique, and in fishes, the counter mechanism, the same way in the case of the aves, due to presence of pulmonary sacs and parabronchia, they are what the parabronchi and air sacs and the parabronchia what helps in a continuous exchange of gases even during the expiration. So this is what we see, the different types of organisms, animals with the exchange of gases and the list of the organs. Let's come to the discussion of the human beings. Human beings are with the respiration. Human respiratory system can be discussed. Human respiratory system can be discussed under two headings. One is named to be the respiratory tract and another is the respiratory organs. Respiratory tract. The respiratory tract includes the external nostrils, nozzle chamber, internal nostrils, then the what is called the larynx we see, then trachea, and the lungs are what the pulmonary sacs. So the respiratory system can be discussed under two headings in human beings. One, that is the respiratory tract. A respiratory tract can be including the regionalization. Tract means the path, which starts with the external nostrils. External nostrils or external nares lead into nozzle chamber, that lead into internal nostrils, then the pharynx, which is a common passage for the air and food, then into the larynx, then into the trachea. This is all what the respiratory passes, and the respiratory organs are lungs or the pulmonary sacs. Now we'll discuss the detailed description in this connection. The external nostrils, the first part to be discussed is external nostrils or external nares. The external nostrils are rounded, arranged at the tip of the what is called the nozzle chamber tip. There we see the external nostrils. External nostrils are with the hair and what is called sebaceous gland. Generally, the hair is what prevents the dust particle entry, and the sebaceous gland which is secreting the sebum, which is for the trapping the dust. The external nostril what lead into the nozzle chamber. However, the external nostril close to the nozzle chamber, which is regionalized into vestibular part, the next into the respiratory part, and then into what is called olfactory part. The external nostrils are what present at the tip of the respiratory tract, which lead into the nozzle chamber. There we see the vestibular part and respiratory part and olfactory part. The three parts of the nozzle chamber. Nozzle chamber we see. One, the vestibular part. Vestibular. Next, the respiratory part. Next, the olfactory part. In fact, the vestibular part, which is very close to the external nostril, that contain the hair and the sebaceous glands. Hair are what? For the preventing the dust particle entry, sebaceous gland, sebum, that lead into the respiratory part. Respiratory part is the part which is what? Vascularized and glandular such that it secretes the mucus. Vascularized is the part which is what associated with the blood, and the respiratory part is the part also contain three thin twisted the plates, name it to be the turbinals or conchae. Turbinals or conchae is said to be turbinals. Turbinals or the conchae or concave we say. The three thin twisted plates are what name it to be the conchae or turbinals, which is present in the respiratory part. They are superior, middle and inferior. Superior to the upper side, inferior and middle. These are the conchae or turbinals. And generally, the nozzle chamber, because of the vascularized part and the glandular part, it maintains the condition of the air. The condition of the air. We know very well, air conditioner. What is an air conditioner? A device which maintains the condition of the air, that is the heat and the moisture is eliminated outside from a room, thereby it maintains the what is called the temperature. Air conditioner. The same way here, nozzle chamber containing the respiratory part is what acts as a artificial air conditioner. So in this connection, the inner part is named to be the olfactory part. Olfactory part is lined by means of the olfactory epithelium. Olfactory epithelium, which is for sense of smell. So by this we come to know nozzle chamber. You must recall your memory. Nozzle chamber is the upper and the dorsal part. We have discussed it among the mammals. Mammals are capable of chew and breathe simultaneously. So the palate which divides the part of the head into upper nozzle chamber and lower buccal chamber. The nozzle chamber is this which is with the vestibular part containing the hair and the sebaceous glands are part of the vestibular part. Then that lead into respiratory part, which maintains the conditioning of the air. The hot air is converted into cool air. Then olfactory part, The respiratory part with the three thin twisted plates, name it to be the terminals or conchae. Collectively, the olfactory part, we say it is lined by means of olfactory epithelium. Olfactory means the smell. So collectively, the functions of the nozzle chamber is by here it prevents the entry of dust particles. By respiratory part, conditioning of the air. So it is convert the hot air into cool air. So artificial air conditioner. Naturally, what I mean to say, it is taking place naturally, not by air condition we keep. So it is a natural air conditioner. And the sense of olfaction by means of the olfactory part. So prevents the entry of dust particles. Natural air conditioner. And the sense of smell, as well as the mucus present over here, trap the bacteria and protection. Protection, natural air conditioner, preventing the dust particle and sense of smell. Nozzle chamber lead into the part which is the nasopharynx, which is with the internal nostrils. The part which contain the internal nostrils, which is situated above the soft palate, is nothing but the nasopharynx. So internal nostrils, which is one of the passages of the pulmonary respiration, lead part of the nasopharynx lead into oropharynx, oropharynx lead into laryngopharynx. That's what the passage we see. The pharynx lead into the larynx. Pharynx lead into larynx. Basically, the larynx we considered is a sound producing organ. I am able to talk because of the what is called the vibrations generated in the vocal cords. So vocal cords are part of the larynx. So larynx is the sound producing organ. The larynx is a sound producing organ which is what made up of 9 cartilaginous plates. 9 cartilaginous plates. Larynx, the case with the birds, we say the sound producing organ is the syrinx. Here the larynx. Larynx is the part, sound producing organ or a voice box, which is with an opening, name it to be the glottis. Glottis is an opening. And it is covered by means of the epiglottis. Epiglottis. We discussed that while taking the food as a part of the involuntary stage, name it to be the esophagus, which closes the what is called the involuntary stage. We have seen pharyngeal and esophageal involuntary phases where the palate closes the nasopharynx. In the same way, the epiglottis closes the glottis. Thereby the entry of the food into the air passage is prevented. Here the glottis, that is by means of epiglottis. Epiglottis is a cartilaginous plate. Generally, the larynx is a sound producing organ made up of 9 cartilaginous plates. 9 cartilaginous plates, which includes both paired and unpaired. Paired as well as the unpaired. The paired and unpaired cartilaginous plates, if we see thyroid, paired, unpaired, unpaired, paired. Paired in the sense the one that are with 2. So the paired include are arytenoid, corniculate, are Santorini and cuneiform. These are paired. Unpaired, so paired 3 in the sense 6. So let us see the remaining three. One is thyroid. The largest cartilaginous plates is a thyroid cartilaginous plate. Next, the cricoid. And the third one is the epiglottis. Now you are clear with the 9 cartilaginous plates. The 9 cartilaginous plates are both paired and unpaired. Paired include our arytenoid, corniculate, or the Santorini. These are what we say, Santorini plates, and cuneiform. So the case with the paired include the arytenoid, corniculate, and cuneiforms, whereas unpaired are thyroid, cricoid, and epiglottis. So let us see the diagrammatically. Generally, the thyroid is considered to be the largest cartilaginous plate. Thyroid, which is a hyaline cord. Recall your memory. In first year, we do discuss every system of our body is aligned by means of all the tissues. In the case of the digestive system, we have seen how the epithelium, how the muscular layer are what present. In this connection, here the respiratory system, where also we find the epithelium, cartilage, muscles, or what seen. In the case of the thyroid cartilage, basically the cartilaginous plates which both include the hyaline cartilage and elastic cartilage. Recall your memory, the cartilage is of fibrous, hyaline, and elastic. So in this connection, the thyroid cartilage is a hyaline cartilage made, epiglottis is a elastic cartilage. So the 9 cartilage, this is what is called the ventral portion of the larynx, and this is the dorsal. What you observe is the dorsally arytenoid are present, a paired, look at here, paired arytenoid. Next, the corniculate as well as cuneiform. These are the 3 cartilaginous plates of the paired, whereas unpaired include thyroid, largest. Posterior to this is located in the ventral. Posterior to the thyroid is the cricoid. And the glottis is an opening covered by means of epiglottis, which is a elastic cartilaginous made. This is how we see the 6 plus 3, 9. And apart from that, there present the fibroelastic structures, name it to be the vocal cords, are present between arytenoid and thyroid cartilaginous plates. There are a pair of the fibroelastic structures present, name it to be the vocal cords. These vocal cords are made up of elastic connective tissue. Connective tissue I am saying, not the cartilage. Be careful, this is very, very important. And these vocal cords whose vibration generates the sound. The space between the 2 vocal cords is named to be the rima glottis. The space between the 2 vocal cords is named to be the rima glottis. The vocal cords are made up of elastic connective tissue. So they are elastic in nature, vibrate. These vocal cords are of 2 types. True vocal cords, false vocal cords. False vocal cords are nothing to do with the sound production. That's what they are named to be the false vocal cords. Then what is their function? Production of the mucus. True vocal cords are, just now I told you, that are located between the arytenoid and the thyroid are the true vocal cords whose vibration then generate the sound. Generally, these sound vibrations that are generated, what comes out of the mouth, and this is how we see the sound. Basically, the vocal cords are off. The thicker in the case of the males, whereas they are thin in the case of the females. Even it is also said to be the dimorphic, sexually dimorphic structure. Males have low pitch voice, whereas females have high pitch voice. Why? Males have low pitch voice, whereas the females are with the high pitch voice. Basically, the males are with the thick and long vocal cords. The thick is what vibrates slow, so produce the low sound production, low pitch voice. Whereas in the case of the females, the vocal cords are thin, so vibrate more, so high pitch voice. This is what we see the sound production done by means of the larynx. Basically, this sound production is also what aided by resonators. The resonators we see in the case of the mouth, the tongue, palate, which resonate. So that's what the sound is produced. Next, the false vocal cords are nothing to do with the production of the sound, but production of the mucus. The ventral side of the larynx, they represent a ventral prominence. Mid-ventrally, larynx have a laryngeal prominence, name it with the Adam's apple, which is seen in the case of only males. Adams and Eve, we say the terms. Adam is for the male, Eve is for the female. So the only males are with the ventral prominence. The ventral side of the larynx is with the thyroid, is cartilage is with a prominence, name it to be the Adam's apple, seen in males but absent in the females. This larynx lead into trachea. Trachea is a windpipe. Trachea is the windpipe. As through this the air flow. So it is a windpipe. And the trachea is lined by means of C-shaped cartilaginous rings. So cartilage is C-shaped. This C-shaped cartilaginous rings prevents the collapse of the trachea when there is no air. This is how the trachea is persistent. And it is lined by means of pseudostratified ciliated epithelium. Trachea, what lead into the lungs.